All right. So, good evening, amazing parents. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you are watching this, and depending on when you are catching this and where you are watching from, right? So, if you join in the conversation, please let me know in the comment section if you can see me and you can hear me. All right. So, I'm going to go quickly, please, because it's going to be a long one. All right. So, we are joining in the conversation around bullying. Okay. So, we're talking about the brains behind bullying, what baffles us, right? Because a lot of reactions have trailed the current, you know, happenings in one of the schools in Abuja. And a lot of reactions, okay? A lot of things have been said. We've watched some clips, but we cannot fully understand what has actually transpired, right? We cannot fully understand what has transpired. However, we can use this as an opportunity, okay, for us to reflect. We can use this as an opportunity for us to reflect on some things. All right. So some people, are casting blames, are judging. Some people have realized that it's time to wake up, and start doing some certain things. Some people are looking and assessing, their parenting and all of that, and are judging and are saying, oh, if it were me, and all of that. So that is the normal reaction, right? And then some people have probably shown their children, and after showing your child the video, what next? Okay, so a lot of things. So I was watching some of the clips, and I was seeing so many funny comments that were trailing the videos, okay, asking, why were some people not brought forth? What are the lapses the school has? Why did it occur the way it did? Why did they allow phones? Why did the girl not stand up for herself? And so many things. So we're going to be talking about bullying because this is something that has been around for quite a while. It's as old as you and me. Okay, so before I continue, if you're just meeting me for the first time, I am Boma Obuforibo. I am the founder of the Positive Parenting Academy, an online academy that helps parents, equips them with the necessary skills and the capacity they need to raise children in these times, right? So the academy offers a community for parents all through the year where you join other parents, you get support through trainings, we review books, you get coaching sessions, you get, templates, things that you can use to put structure in your parenting. Okay? So we also offer you real-time solutions on the go. All right? So if you are a parent in these times and you are not in academy, you are not in an academy, you are wrong. Okay? Because every day something keeps changing. All right? You need to be up to date and take action on the go. The children we are raising are not the same as it was before. So you need to be up and doing. And the only way you can do that is being in a community where you constantly hear the things that will help you. Okay? So we're going to be talking about bullying. Okay? Like I said, we're going to address the bully. Okay? How to help your child not to be. We're going to be talking about the bullied. So we have the bully, the bullied, okay, how to prevent or stop it, and then the bystanders, and we're going to be looking at the parents' role and the school's role. Because, as I watched the videos, a lot of blames were cast. So the school should take responsibility. Most of the conversation that was going on, most of the blame was put on the school. Some comments that came said, oh, the parents and all of that. So we're going to be looking at this holistically. And as I go ahead, if you've had any personal experience, okay, whatever your opinion is on the matter, you can please share. Tell us where you're joining this live stream from, okay? Tell us your name, tell us where you're joining from. You just may connect with somebody close to you. All right. And if you can see me and hear me, please let me know in the comment section that you see me and you hear me. Okay. So, first of all, right, bullying. We're going to be defining what bullying is. I remember growing up, I had a brother that was a bully. Okay, so my brother was a bully. There was this boy he used to bully in school, right? So his name was Awo. The boy's name was Awu. He used to bully him and take his snacks during snack time. All right. So it got so bad that, like, during snack time, this boy already knows that he's already forfeiting his snacks. So during snacks time, my brother will just go and wait at his class and then he just gives him, right? So at a point, my mom got to know about it, and then the school authorities and all of that. So this bullying thing has a root, like I said, and it has its fruits. That's what we're going to be looking at today. So if you can hear me, like, please write it in the comment section. We're going to be talking about the bully, the bullied, the bystanders, parents' role, and school's role. I'm sure at some point we have all been bullied without knowing. And as I continue in the conversation, you get to know why. I personally have been bullied, right? I've been bullied by my siblings because I was the last, right? I've been bullied. A lot of times when we think about bullying, we just think about, in the context of somebody beating someone that, you have power over. Okay, somebody that is helpless, or you look at bullying as someone, that's in school you're teasing and all of that. But bullying is so much more. So let us go on. Bullying is an ongoing, deliberate, repeated verbal, physical, or emotional misbehavior, okay, as is capable of doing harm. All right, so bullying is ongoing, it is deliberate, it is repeated, okay, and it can be physical, it can be verbal, it can be emotional, and the aim is to cause harm. Okay, the aim is to cause harm. Now we need to know that bullying is a learned behavior. So if you see someone hitting, when I watched the video, I could just see the repeated slaps that was given to that girl. That was what we saw, right? This behavior is learned. This behavior is a learned behavior, okay? And bullying, the bully is a victim, okay? No matter how you see it, that person that bullied, as I said, is a learned behavior. That behavior has a root, right? So the bully is either a victim of the family, the society, or the school. All right? And we're going to be looking into this more in depth. Okay? Now, usually it is a misuse of power. So, usually the person feels, okay, I have power over this person. And like I said, it's learned. And bullies don't just talk to any kind of person, they observe, okay, to know those people that are easy praise. All right, they don't bully anyone. they observe to know those who are easy prey. So it's like a misuse of power. Okay? And the aim, you know, of the bully is to make victims to feel powerless, sad, and scared. Okay? We're going to be going more into this. Now, pay attention. Bullying thrives on power, like I said. So, they want to be in charge. They want to feel like they are in charge. They are bigger than you. Okay? They are in authority. They want to overshadow you. It thrives on aggression. It thrives on intimidation. Okay? Bullying. So, look at it critically. Is your child a bully? Because sometimes our children may even be the ones that are bullies, right? So where do they actually get this from? I talked about the roots and the fruits. A bully is someone that has learned that behavior. It doesn't just come from nowhere. So I'm going to be using acronyms because usually when I teach, okay, I like to use acronyms so that it sticks. When we talk about the origin of bullying, now we're still looking at the bully, okay? So I'm going to be using MEG, MEG. If you can hear me, please write it in the comment section, MEG. So I'm going to talk about modeling. I'm going to talk about environment, right? And I'm going to talk about the goal, okay? All right, so modeling. A lot of us, okay, I saw a lot of parents ranting, talking without restraint, saying all manner of things and responding to that video. But it will interest you to know that most of these parents are bullies. You may just be the bully. You are bullying your child. Yes, you. You may ask how. When you beat your child, when you yell, remember I talked about physical, I talked about verbal, I talked about emotional misbehavior. Those are the, you know, traits of bullying. That is what constitutes bullying. And it's ongoing. A lot of parents say they cannot help it. They have to flog, they have to yell at their children. Are you one of them? You are a bully. Yes. Because remember, we talked about you feeling you are in power, right? You are lording it over. Your children feel helpless. You think that if you are beating and yelling at your child now, think of doing that same thing to your child when they are 18, 19. I'm sure you cannot do the same thing because then they are no longer the small children that you used to lord over. So you can see that you are a bully because when you do it, they no longer feel powerless. They will stand up to you, right? So you are a bully, okay? So when you beat your child, you yell, you are modeling the same thing. Don't wonder that your child is doing these things. Children, I've had cases of children, that go to school, they hit. When they are angry, they punch other children, right? They slap other children. That is the kind of treatment that they get at home. When their parents are angry at them, they slap them, they flog them. And you're feeling that, oh, I'm disciplining my child. Let me tell you today, when you do those things, you are bullying your child. That is physical abuse. That is misuse of power. Remember, I defined bullying as a misuse of power in a relationship, right? That is bullying. Clear terms. So sometimes other things that we tend to do, teasing. So, I told you growing up, I used to be bullied. Then I was called so many names, teased, because I was very slim then. They would call me names, that relate to being slim, tease me about how my body looks and all of that. That was bringing down my self-esteem. And that, made me an easy prey. So when people talk When they say things about me, I can't talk back. When they do or act in a certain way, I can't talk back. How many times do we do this teasing unknowingly? We say things like, see your small head, see your small mouth, see your tiny legs. We say all these things jokingly, but these things are a big deal. Okay, you tease body parts of your children, or you tease them for doing things in a certain way, or maybe something they do, you look at them and you laugh, and then you just trivialize it. These things can affect their self-esteem. All right, a lot of us are guilty of this. Look at your big head, look at how your ear is, look at your nose, look at your mouth, all those things. Are we guilty of it? Okay, so we are modeling. These are the same things that our children are picking. All right, they are picking it, and sometimes we give them labels. Okay, so we say things like lazy boy, or careless boy, you know all these things, and we think it doesn't mean anything. It's not a big deal. Words cast spells. So recently we had this challenge, the Yelcom challenge in the Positive Parenting Academy, right? So we're talking about your words. Parents cannot talk without yelling. Okay, you don't have to yell to talk to your children. All right, yelling is ineffective. Yelling just shows that you have lost control because you don't know what else to do. You have lost it because you cannot control yourself. You don't have options. That is why you yell at your child. And that yelling will only last for now. When they get older, it's ineffective. And you are modeling the same thing. So when you see maybe your children and their siblings talking to themselves, they are yelling at each other, you are wondering, okay, or they yell back at you. Sometimes they yell at their teacher in class, they yell at their friends in school, they throw tantrums, they are so outrageous, and you're wondering, where did all of this come from? My dear parents, we need to look inwards, because I joined in the conversation and I was listening to what was being said concerning all of this. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the parents' role as I go on. So, modeling. How do you talk to them? Even when you want to give instructions, you command, you use the authoritarian way of parenting. It is my way or nothing. Is that how you relate with your children? Okay, so they are watching and they are picking all these things. Okay, they are absorbing. You don't give them a voice. I was, at a church some time ago, and I was telling them, when your child tells you no, you should be happy. And they were wondering, what am I saying? A lot of us, our children cannot tell us no. We say it's disrespectful because that's how we were brought up. You don't say no to your parents. A child that cannot say no to you will not be able to stand up for themselves. If you don't give them the opportunity to say no, when they say no, it doesn't make you any less of a parent. Okay, if they are not able to have a voice at home, they will not be able to have a voice outside. Okay, some of us would just render our children powerless. Like, if you see the way we talk to them when they have done something wrong, they are just standing there like somebody going to be slaughtered. You rain abuses, you talk down on them, you look down on them, you shout, you beat, everything you can do. Okay, and you call it discipline, right? You've disciplined them, you've done your part, you flog them. These are the same things that they will do. Okay, you're just modeling to them that when they have a difficult situation, this is how they, you know, address it. These are the ways they use to solve the problems. So that is why they will be a bully. When they go to school where they have power. So I had an experience in my daughter's school, you know. By the way, I also work with schools, right, to help them to incorporate emotional intelligence, because in all of these things, okay, Some of the gaps I could pick was that there was no emotional intelligence. Even when you see the discussions that they were having back and forth with the parents, the teachers, and all of that, no EI. All right. And that is one thing you need to also teach your children from an early stage. Okay. Those are skills I'm going to be talking about in a bit. So I was in my daughter's school and I was introducing the concept of EI. I had a session with the children. So I told them this story. I always say that I gave them a story of different scenarios of children, of how they were feeling based on their circumstances. And so there was one of them that I talked about that was bossy in school, always being mean to people, so insulting, so rude, bullying and all of that, making people feel bad. And a lot of people didn't want to associate with her. So when I went to school some other time for her open day, I was just seated and, just by my side, I could hear a parent shouting, screaming, to the teacher and to her child as well, saying how she was going to beat the child and all of that and all of that. She was just going on and on. And the child was just there looking helpless. She couldn't talk, and everything. So my daughter also noticed, and then while we're going back, she mentioned to me, she said, wow, see how the mom was just talking to her. I didn't like it at all. And see how she just kept quiet. Do you know, mommy, this particular girl, she's just like that bossy girl you told us about in that story. In school, the way she talks to people, she wants to bully people and all. So that's a typical scenario. This child feels powerless at home, but she has learned, all of these things that are being done to her at home, and she's coming to school to do it. Because a child that bullies, like I said, it doesn't just come from nowhere. Every child is coming from a home. Every child has a society and environment around them. So that is why I say a bully is a victim of the family, the society, and the environment. So what is happening in these three places, right? So that is a bully. Now we look at other things. Some parents, when we talk about emotional, so we've looked at physical and verbal, misbehavior. Remember, we talked about physical, verbal, and emotional. A lot of us are unempathetic. We lack empathy. So if a child is going through something and you say, what is that now? Is that why you are crying? For that small, man up, you're a big boy. Big boys don't cry, big girls don't cry. You laugh at them. Is it that small thing? When they come to tell you things, you dismiss their feelings. No empathy, right? You are neglecting. Okay, you don't even understand what goes on with your child in school every day. If you are not listening to those little things that look trivial to you while it's important to them, when the big things come, they won't talk to you. They will keep it to themselves because they don't have a parent that listens. When they go to school, they are victimized, and then some of them will either take it out on others, become the bully, because they have so many emotions that must be let out, but there is no outlet. No one is giving them a listening ear. No one is creating an environment where they can have open conversations, non-judgmental conversations. Okay, they can air their views, make mistakes, and just be them. You're not giving your child the enabling environment to just be them, to just be who they are. So they cannot come to you because you're not going to be empathetic to their plight. You're not going to validate how they're feeling. Okay? So they let it out on others, or they become the bullied. All right? So that is what you have modeled. A lot of them will now go on to lack empathy. When something happens, they do it and they don't care. Okay? They don't feel sorry or remorseful when they do these things. That is what you have created in your children just by modeling. That is M. So we're looking at Meg. Then the environment, your home. How do you relate to your spouse? Okay? How do you relate to your spouse? Some homes, it's possible that there is physical abuse. Children are living in abusive homes where all of these things are going on and they are watching. Okay, they are watching. They are watching, they are looking at it and are thinking, oh, that is how you relate with people. When mommy and daddy want to solve problems, this is how they go physical and all of that. They are watching. All right. That is the environment you have created for them. Okay. What else? You don't create boundaries, no structures. You have an entitled child that you allow them to have anything they want when they want it and all of that. So an entitled child is going to go to school and seek for anything that they want and get it at all costs, even if it means bullying, right? An entitled child. The child will be impulsive, okay? They want to have their way at all costs. They will be demanding, all right? And when they do things, you let them off the hook. They are not accountable. They don't take responsibility. When they make a mistake, you put it under the carpet. When something happens in school, you want to cover up. I don't want my child to bring me shame. These little things matter. There was a story I remember my mom used to tell us growing up. There was a mom and her son. So every time this child went to school, he used to steal from people, take people's things that didn't belong to him. The mom would check the bag, she would see these things, but she never really made, comments. She didn't ask him, she didn't question, she didn't probe further. She wasn't curious as to how he was getting all of these things. And so the behavior continued until he graduated to stealing bigger things and all of that and all of that. Until eventually he became an adult, he became a full-blown thief and was stealing, and then he got caught. He was to be taken to prison. So, but before he went, he asked that he spoke with his mom one more time before they took him away. So, when the mom came, he told her to come closer. And then when he said he was going to whisper in her ear, he didn't want other people to hear. And then he beat her ear. I said, all the while, she saw all of these things happening and she never said anything. A lot of us are raising entitled children in the name of woke generation. Your child is entitled, your child is demanding, you have to let them have their way, they make mistakes, no checks, no structure. Okay, those are mostly permissive parents, or parents that feel, okay, this is a new generation, don't be hard on the children. You can actually be disciplined and discipline your child without having to yell and to flog. If you're one of the parents that yell, you need to be part of that yell come challenge. Yell less, connect more. Okay, you're going to learn how to be a parent. If you are yelling, you are disorganized, you are traumatized, you need help, you need to learn emotional intelligence. Okay, if you are in that space, you need help. I used to be there. Okay, so I'm not coming from a place of perfection. I'm not coming from a place of perfection. All right, so you need to understand that when you see these things, you need to seek help. That is the first stage. Even being self-aware, a lot of people are not even self-aware that they need help. All the time you are yelling, you yell. There's some parents, they're on the flip side. You let your children to act and behave anyhow. They talk to people anyhow. You just say, oh, this child is just a child, and they become entitled, and that is the environment. Again, no skills. And that is why in the academy, part of what we do, because in children, every stage has something you must focus on. If you miss out on that thing that is critical for that stage, the next stage is going to be a struggle. I can tell you for free. A lot of parents that are in the academy are struggling because they didn't start early. They have teenagers and now they are struggling because most of the things they should have done before the children became teenagers, they did not do. If you are listening to me, you have a toddler, you have a preschooler, this is the best time to join a parenting academy because you would start from the scratch. Even if you don't have your child yet, you are married or you are intending to get married, this is the best time. So if you're listening to me and you're in that category, you better sign up for the next cohort of the parenting community. Okay? You need to sign up. Send me a DM so that I can give you details. All right? So most of the skills we need to teach children is between 5 to 10. By the time they become preteens and teenagers, you are going to struggle because the stage of skill building is that age. Then they are old enough to understand, but young enough to comply. So most times the bullies don't have skills. They've not been taught certain skills like problem solving. How do you handle problems? How do you handle conflicts? How do you cope when you have all those overwhelming emotions? How do you self-regulate when everything is not going your way? Okay? We are not teaching them those skills. We are not even teaching them the skill of friendship. Now, sometimes you need to teach your children to be discerning. There are some situations where they will discern and know that this situation is smelling trouble. I should stand out. You're going to teach them how to make friends. There are friends that are not right for them. They should be able to discern who is eligible to be a friend, right? So that there are certain things that will be avoided. Okay? You need to teach them communication skills. You need to teach them to be assertive, to stand up for themselves. And part of teaching them is you also align them to be assertive at home. If you talk to your child and you tell them to be assertive, you need to tell them to be assertive at home. It's not going to happen because it starts from home. Anything that you're not teaching your child, don't expect the school or the society to teach them. So if you're blaming your child, the finger should also be pointing at the school and the society a bit. So teaching them assertion, self-defense, confidence, all of these things are skills you need to teach. Okay? If you're not teaching these things, okay, you are going to have serious problems. The environment, their friends, who are their friends? Who are the people they mingle with? Do you know their friends? Do you know their friends? Do you know your children's friends? And then the school. Most schools, you don't even know what to look out for when you are sending your child to a particular school. You don't ask for their policies on different aspects. You don't do a survey of the kind of people that attend the school and understand your focus for what you really want from this school for your child. Or you're just looking at prestige. Okay, other people are going to this school. You've heard about this school, so your child will go to this school. You need to set your priorities right, because sometimes some of these best schools may not be the best fit for your child. It may not even align with your values, and if you don't even have values, you have nothing to stand for. So when you're going to a school, you don't even know the questions to ask. When you are doing PTA sessions, you don't have questions to ask the school because you don't even know what it is you expect from the school. What are your expectations? Because some of these things you'll be able to address them if they have clear policies, okay, on certain things. So these are some of the things. Like I said, the goal of the bully is to make the victims feel the way they are feeling. So they are feeling powerless, they are feeling sad, they are feeling scared. So they are projecting that they are feeling, okay, that is their way of, letting out how they are feeling by doing it to somebody else, what has been done to them. Remember the story I told you. So how do you know your child is a bully? If your child is always aggressive, it's a sign. You need to curb it. Aggression is bad. You need to teach them to be assertive. Are they always aggressive? The way they talk to people, so rude. They raise their voice and all of that. Do they lack empathy? Something happens to somebody and they are not concerned. Are they always bossy? Remember the story I told you about that bossy girl. Do they lack self-regulation? So when something happens, they are throwing tantrums. They cannot regulate themselves. Something does not go their way. They are just all over the place. that is a sign that your child may be a bully. Okay? Do they get things that you cannot explain? Check their bags. Check what is going on. A lot of us, we just pay school fees, and then we expect that the school should just do everything. A teacher's job is made easier if the child is disciplined from home. Don't expect you can't outsource parenting. Don't expect the school to do for you what you're supposed to do. That you've paid school fees and your child is going to that school doesn't mean that your work is done. Parents think that, okay, I've paid school fees and so that is it. No, your work does not end there. In fact, the learning should start from home. You should be your child's first teacher. The school is just helping you because you are not trained and there's no structured curriculum. There are people that do homeschooling, if you don't know. So it is not enough to just pay school fees and think that, oh, my work is done. Then the school, whatever happens, you blame them completely. We need to play, parents. We need to wake up. Everybody now is running helter skelter. It is something that you should have been doing on a daily basis. It's not when things like this happen, you now start looking, oh, and they should have done this. You put your voice, you say what should have happened or shouldn't have happened. You say, oh, my child can never go to this kind of school. It's not a function of the school. It's a function of what you have built in your child to reduce the chances to the barest minimum that your child is going to be a victim of this. Right? So pay attention. Your child may just be a bully because of how you have modeled and the environment you have exposed them to. Okay? Now we look at the bullied. The bully. Now I had an experience with my child when she was much younger. There was this girl that she kept coming to tell me every day. This girl will not let her rest. She will threaten her. I will not be your friend. You have done this, you have done that. If you don't come with your toys for me, you know, if you don't come back with your toys, I'm not going to be your friend. I'm going to tell the teacher that you did this. She was always disturbing me. I said, what kind of problem is this? And so when I go to school, I noticed that this said girl, you know, she was always looking for that need to be loved. You know, she always wants to go and touch other parents, you know, and want to hug them. So I could sense that there was that gap, that sense of belonging, you know, lacking in the home. And she was always feeling so sad and distant and detached. So looking back, you know, I just realized that it could just be her way of letting out the things that were missing in her home. Probably she was being shouted at and all of that. She was neglected, and she now used that as a mechanism, you know, to make up by bullying other people. My daughter then had not learned. I had to start teaching her how to stand up for a bully. You know, we did role play and all of those things, which I'm going to be talking about. Eventually, the girl left. She now had another person that was also a thorn in her flesh. She came back, how she would talk to her, she would be crying, that this person is always calling her names, is always threatening her. I said, no, this cannot continue. Okay? I had to build her. So one day, the girl was saying all those things, and then she wanted to raise her hand, you know, and touch her as she usually does. So my daughter held her in the hand and said, stop it. You don't talk to people like that. What you are doing is wrong, you know? And after that day, she said, Mommy, if you see the way she was scared, one thing you need to tell your children is that these bullies are scared, though. Like I said, they observe their prey. They don't bully anyone. They look at the people that are easy prey to be bullied. So that is what brings us to the bullied. Now, the same thing applies, the modeling and the environment. All of these things can kill a child's self-esteem, just as it did for me while I was growing up. The name calling, giving them labels, yelling, beating them, not letting them have a voice, they don't have an opinion, you do everything for them, you don't give them the opportunity to even think. Some parents are helicopter parents. Every single thing, they say this one, you are there. Your child, you must be there. You want them to, you know, I don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to, no, they don't have a voice. They can't stand up for themselves. Okay? So when they go out there, they are easy prey to bullies. No encouragement. You don't motivate them. They don't have opportunity to show their talents. Unmet needs, right? So when they come to you and maybe something happens, say big boy like you, why are you doing? You kill their self-esteem. Sometimes you're unavailable. You're unavailable. So some of these children are easy praise. They become easy praise for bullies. And how do you know that they are easy praise for bullies? When you see a child telling you all of a sudden that their stomach is paining them, something is, giving excuses to not go to school, or they begin to talk themselves down. They start to have low self-esteem when they're in the group of people. You can hardly hear them. They don't come out, they don't show themselves, they're always scared. They have poor sleep. You begin to see that some of their things get missing. Now, I had a patient in my clinic on 2 occasions, not just one. These children were in boarding school, 2 boys on different occasions. So they came and they were hit in the eye, and they had blood in their eye. And we asked and asked. So the father was there with the boy and was saying he doesn't understand what happened. They said they were sleeping. And what the boy said, the victim, the child that came with his father, said by mistake he fell from the bed. And how is it that he fell and only one eye, no other part of the body, right? And so there was another case. They said somebody said, oh, the boy was just holding his belt and the thing mistakenly hit his eye. Some of these people have been threatened. Okay, these are things that they've done to them repeatedly, and they are not sharing with us because we have not even given them the enabling environment to be vulnerable, to say anything in a non-judgmental zone, in a zone that is free from judgments. So when we probed and probed for that, because that story did not just add up. We're like, how can you just fall from your bed in boarding school? And then we are seeing this level of blood. The impact was more than just what the story was. And so we probed further. We later found out that he was bullied. He was bullied, right? So that was how they took up the matter. So your children, will be injured. You see injuries and you ask, what's going on? Those are the signs that your child is being bullied. They don't like to socialize, they are timid, and you say, oh, this one is quiet. Parents, in the community, we are currently in the month where we are getting to know our children. The temperament of a child can also affect them as either being a bully or being bullied, right? So we are looking at who is your child, because every child is unique. We need to understand them, study them. We tagged it, your child is a curriculum to be studied. We are looking at different aspects of your child that you need to know. A lot of us don't know who our children are. We just pay school fees and we think we are done and leave the work for the school. Now, the other category of people are the bystanders. Okay? Now, these are people that are aware of what is going on, but they are doing nothing. So most times you can see in a typical scenario, the bully and the bullied, and then you see students just standing there. They are either laughing or adding to what is going on. You need to teach your children not to be bystanders. All right? When they see something, they should say something. Okay? Because they are accomplices. Let them understand that. They cannot just stand by and watch these things happen. Because when they do, they are accomplice, even if they did not, they were not directly involved or actively involved in what was going on. So you teach them to be upstanders instead of bystanders. Okay? Let them call their attention to someone when they see somebody being bullied. They shouldn't participate in name calling or join or laugh at the person because they are accomplice when they do that. Okay? Even online bullying. So in the TSKH hub I run for children 5 to 10 years, we are looking at all of these things. This month we're looking at body safety. A lot to learn. These are skills you should be building your child. If you've not built skills, you have no business blaming your child for anything. You've not built. There are certain skills your child will need to know. It's not just about passing exams and getting all A's. When they cannot stand up for themselves, they can't speak, they don't have a voice, they can't think critically, they can't discern, they don't know what relationship is right, that you always have to be there. Every time I tell the parents in the community, your greatest win as a parent is your child to be able to know what to do when you are not there. You will not always be with them. And they would grow to different stages in their life where you will no longer be the first and important voice. Other voices will come. In those moments, what have you taught them before they get to that stage? Right? So tell your children not to participate, not to add to it. They should help the bully. Be a witness report. Say what happened. Talk to a trusted adult. They can stand up to the bully and say, no, this is wrong. Okay? That is what they can do. They can start a community, a club, a upstander club. They gather around so that it forms, a safe place for those that are being bullied. If you're being bullied, you can run to these people and say, this is what is happening. They can start it online. We've heard of online bullying as well. Online bullying, cyber bullying. It is happening. So they can start a club where they come together and ensure that these things are curbed. Not that these are the things they can be doing online. Not that you put them on social media, they're on TikTok doing all those TikTok challenges. These are ways they can, make the media work for them. They can start an online, anti-bullying hub and help other people that are being bullied. All right? And tell them not to be afraid, because when they do, they will be celebrated for what they did, for their courage. So you need to build them. So what can you do as a parent? Now we're looking at the parent's role. You need to stop bullying your child, parents. When you flog them, when you shout at them, when you threaten, when you give them names, when you tease them, you are bullying them. If there's anything that you will take today from this session, let that sink into your head, deep down. So anytime you see yourself doing that, just know that you are a bully. You are not doing discipline. That is not discipline. That is not. How many of us, were waiting? All of us were waiting then now for Independence Day. The way our parents related with us. We were waiting for when we would eventually leave and go and just do what we like, right? Because we didn't have the power. Then we're powerless. It's the same thing you are doing. So you need to stop. Review your parenting style. How emotionally intelligent are you? When something happens, you can't hold yourself. You are just all over the place. You are ranting. You cannot get your acts together. Remember, you are a model. It's not say as I or do as I say, but not as I do. You need to understand that you are a model to your child. Your child is not the one that has to change for you to stop yelling. Your behavior is not dependent on how your child behaves. If you're depending on, let this child stop behaving, is this child that is making me, is this child that made me, don't make your child responsible for what you do. It is your responsibility and yours alone. If you yell, you chose to yell. Your child did not make you. It's because you lack emotional intelligence and you need to learn it. Okay? Children will be children. There's a lot of reasons why they misbehave, but you are supposed to be the adult. When you yell, you're also throwing a tantrum. When children throw tantrums and they act out, it's because they are frustrated. And it's the same way when we are frustrated with our children. We've said something they don't hear, we have said this repeatedly, they are not getting it, and then we yell. We are throwing a tantrum. So we need to learn emotional intelligence. Watch your parenting style. Are you very harsh? Are you the type that you just command and say, yes, what I've said it, that is final? You need to pay attention. And watch out for unresolved trauma. So we're going to be running the healing your inner child course, because your children deserve a healed and whole version of you. You are traumatized. Most of us, we are traumatized without knowing it. Some of these things are trauma. We have been bullied physically, emotionally. All of us, we went through all of this. You need to consciously heal, because if you don't do it consciously, you will pass it on without knowing, because it's now at your subconscious level. You find yourself doing all of these things without even thinking about it. but you are passing on trauma to another generation. The greatest gift you can give to your child is to give them a healed and whole you. If you need to go for a therapy session, you need to speak to a counselor, you need to seek help, by all means do it. We're running a course, Healing Your Inner Child. Many of the things you do because you are triggered is because of some childhood experiences that have not been resolved. Parts of you that have not healed, that is showing up in the way you are relating with your child and is traumatizing them as well. You will need to break that cycle. Okay? So please pay attention to those unresolved traumas. You may just be the one making your child a bully or making the child to be bullied, right? Then pay attention to the environment you're exposing your child to. A child is not, it's not fault of theirs for whatever happens, because when a child is born, they are born on a clean slate. I always say this. Whatever they become is a product of what they were exposed to, including you. You are an environment in yourself. How do you relate with them? Do you flip? Do you shout on them? Do you punch them? I had a parent say that he beats his children very well. You make them your punching bag, or you do the same to your spouse. That is the environment. Oh. Look at your social environment. What kind of things are they listening to? Who are the people they hang out with? What are they hearing? Those are the things they pick up, and that is what they become. So you must intentionally curate that experience for them. Okay? You must intentionally curate that experience and pay attention to the environment that you're exposing them to, including the school. Do your background checks. It's not every school that is good that is right for your child. All right? And then teach them. You are teaching. That is what discipline is all about, parents. It's not to flog them. You know, just assuming. I was reading a story today, a bedtime story to my daughter. Something of financial literacy, and the story was talking about a boy. The parents were trying to cut down on expenses. The mom did not know. They went to the supermarket. It was the only child, and she bought more than their budget. So only for her to get home, the father was complaining, that he has not made sales. He's like a sales rep, in a company, so that they need to cut down on expenses. So he now asked, so how much did he even spend today, this month, for expenses? And she was scared to even tell him. And then she told him she had to spend more because she had to buy the child extra stuff. So he was so angry, shouting at the child, don't you know that now you are grown, you should not be doing, you should know that money, you don't spend money like this. Most of the times we have unrealistic expectations as parents. So we believe that as a child gets to a certain stage, automatically they should know or pick some certain things, from where I honestly don't know. You don't teach your child anything and you just assume and expect that as they grow to a certain stage, they must have learned these things. From where? Where exactly do you expect these children to learn these things? Sometimes we put so much expectation on our children and expect so much, and then we give so little. How much of your time do you spend to teach your children? To teach them. Some of the things that we complain that they do, have you taught them how to behave? And you don't teach it one-off. It's repeated. It's through repetition impressions are made. Okay? So how many times have you taught them? You need to pay attention to that. All right? So you need to pay attention to that. Teaching skills is very key. Teaching skills. So what can you do? Okay? What can you do as a parent? I use the acronym BRAT. BRAT. Okay? What can you do as a parent? There are 6 things I'm going to be mentioning, all right, for you to do. BRAT. So, but the B it's twice and the A is twice as well. So, first of all, you need to acknowledge. So, the first B is you need to build their self esteem. Okay? A child that has a healthy dose of self esteem is not likely to be an easy prey to a bully. All right? You need to build their self esteem, and it starts from home. Are you accepting them for who they are? Or you are, like I tell the parents, you parent the child you have, not the one you wish you had. Accepting them for who they are. Every child is unique. Don't say, why are you always like this? Why can't you be like your brother? Why can't you be like your sister? No, they can't. No two children are the same. Even twins cannot be the same. All right? Even twins cannot be the same. So, accepting. How accepting are you of them? How, you know, being able to believe in themselves. That is, first of all, you accepting them. Okay? You need to also help them to identify their strengths by affirming them, helping them to also say these affirmations, increasing their competence. So when they are competent, it builds confidence. Look at their interests. Help them to, go into those interests. When they do these things, maybe it could be art, it could be music, it could be dancing, it could be writing, it could be reading, whatever it is. When they keep at those things, they feel competent and it increases their confidence. So when you see them do some things, you reinforce it. You tell them, oh, I see how much you put in and all of that. Keep doing this. Teaching them respectful communication. Remember, I said assertion is not aggression, but they need to be assertive. They need to respectfully stand up for themselves. And how do you do that? When you tell them things like every adult is right, so you can't talk to an adult, including you. So you can't always be right. If your child is not able to say, okay, mommy, daddy, what you did, I didn't like it, then there is a problem. All right. So you need to ensure that your children have a healthy dose of self esteem, and it starts from home, how you relate with them. The other B is you build skills, build social skills. Most of these things we talk about it in depth in the Positive Parenting Academy, right? There's a way to build skills for your children. Then the arrow, okay, we talk about role play. Role play. Sorry, excuse me. Role play. So you role play what if scenarios, because some of these things may happen. You give them practical situations. So you say, what if this thing happens? What if you get to school and a a boy or a girl slaps you? What would you do? What if they call you names? What would you do? Role play the scenario. Even act it out. Let them reply, respond. That way, you're giving them a prototype of what can possibly go wrong, because you don't know when these things will happen. Okay? So, role play, that is the arrow. Then A, there are two A's. Acknowledge. So, like I said, we lack empathy. Acknowledge how your child is feeling. When they come to you and tell you certain things, don't be a judge. Just listen. Parents, just listen. Just listen. Okay? And validate how they're feeling. Allow open conversations. If your child is not telling you the little things, they are not likely to tell you the big things. How many times do we lend them an ear? Okay, to just talk, or we stop them and say, how can you do that kind of thing? What is wrong with you? That's a common thing we say. What is wrong with you? We don't allow open conversations. We don't allow them to just talk. Okay? Let your home be a safe place for them, a safe haven. When they have gone, out there, they have interacted with so many things, so many people. Let your home be a place where they can come and have a free, open, non-judgmental conversations with you. If your home is not that place, then there is a problem. Okay, so ensure that you have open conversations, right? And then the T is for you to teach assertion, not aggression. Teach them to speak up. Teach them to speak up. Now, quickly, we're going to look at the school's role, because in all of these things, even though you've set up policy, you've set up CCTV, they said they put CCTV, but it just happened that where the thing took place, there was no CCTV. Now, people are asking why. Why is it that there is CCTV in some places and there is no CCTV in some other places? Now, in these places where there's no CCTV, why are children allowed to go there? Because you know that you will not be able to monitor what is happening. Some people are asking, these children had phones, okay? Unfortunately, that was the only way we could know what happened. But again, why are they with phones in the school? So when you get to a school, what is the school's role? Yes, the school has a role to play in all of this. But parents should also do their checks. Like I said, you go to a school, you just see that this is a trending school. Some other person told you, this is where their child did very well. You don't know that every child is unique. That is good for one child doesn't mean it will be good for your own child. Okay, so you need to understand why you're sending your child to a particular school. Do your background checks. Find out about their policies on different things. What is their policy on discipline? It's not when it happens that they are running helter skelter. What is their policy on bullying? These are common things that happen. What is their policy on drug abuse and other vices? You need to find out clearly and be on the know. Engage in this school, parents. It's not enough to just pay school fees and off you go. Be there, be involved, ask questions. Look at schools that support learning in other aspects. It's not just about getting good grades. You know, in other skills like emotional intelligence, resilience, teamwork, assertion, problem solving, social skills. A child's learning is incomplete if the school does not offer learning opportunities in all of these things. And that is why part of what the Positive Parenting Academy is doing is that we are working and partnering with schools to incorporate social and emotional learning. This is something that is already obtainable in other parts of the world, right? But in this part of the world, it's so great. When I introduce the concept, a lot of people are not even aware of emotional intelligence. But these things are better predictors of success in life, even more than IQ. So look at these things. Is a school big on all these other things, or they are just focused on so much and then you are emotional? These are the soft skills that most jobs are even looking for. So pay attention to the school. Let them be held accountable, for their own role. As a parent, you do your part. And then when you go to school, you look out for all of these things. Is that school a nice fit for your child? Okay? You find out how they address these situations and what they do. Ensure that the children are not being even bullied by the teachers. Because I've had a case again, in my clinic where a child came, a teacher flogged her in the eye and she lost vision in that eye because she had a macular hole straight up. Like the impact was much that it was a full thickness macular hole, and the macula is the part of the eye that helps you to see your best. So it was a macular hole when we did the scan of the eye, and that child lost vision in that eye. So what is the school doing? How are they teaching the teachers? Because it's not enough to say, oh, we don't do discipline. Have the teachers understood? How are they relating with the children? You need to ask questions. And if you're not open with your child, some of these things that happen in school, you will not be able to know. So please, connection. In the academy, we connect, we give you tools that help you to connect daily, on a daily basis with your child. Because when you say, I don't have time, it just shows that you have not made it a priority. Your child is a priority. Every one of us has 24 hours. When you say you don't have time, is a language of a parent that has not managed their priorities. Okay, so what is a priority to you? And we talk about essentialism. What is essential to you? There's a stage in a child's life where you need to adjust what is essential and important, things that you forego, because there is always something to sacrifice at every stage. So if you don't pay the price now, that time that you are saying you don't have now, you will pay that price later. So do the work now so that you don't run helter skelter when they are older. So looking at all of these things, everyone has a role to play in this whole scenario. Not one person alone should bear the brunt of it. But in all of these things, the children are the victims. So nobody should blame the child for anything. The parties involved, the parents, the school, but largely the parents. So I want to just end at this point. I want us to think, because what a child becomes is a product of who raised them, what the person that raised them knows, and where they are raised. All of these factors are very key. So, as a parent, what advantage does your child have because you are their parent? What do you know? Children now are very knowledgeable. You need to be one step ahead of them. What do you know that you, when they come to you, they are looking for wisdom, because most information they can get online. So, what is the added advantage you have as their parents that you can offer them? Wisdom, insights. That is what they are looking for, because they know all these things. So if you're not plugged into a system where you can learn, I don't understand. All right. So I felt I needed to say this on our Thursday live. By the way, we always come here live on Thursdays at 9 p.m. to share insightful tips that have to do with parenting. I felt I needed to say this on this Thursday live because it was an issue, one too many, It happens a lot, but it just happened that this one needed to be brought out to buttress the point that a lot of gaps need to be filled, in the system, both on the side of the parents and of the school. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful. Please drop your comments, what your views are on the matter, and I'll be waiting for you to sign up. If you have not signed up for the Positive Parenting Academy, please do so. Registration is ongoing. Okay, the next course starts in November. You can spread your payment. It's a yearly program, so an annual program. Okay, so you can send me a message and I'll send you the link so that you can join the community and learn. In the meantime, you can look out for my previous videos, watch them, and you can learn a thing or two. All right, you can learn a thing or two. We're going to be having the Healing Your Inner Child in June. We just finished the Welcome Challenge. You can get the link to the Welcome Challenge. Okay, if you're that yelling parent that you're always here, you're always shouting, you need to go through those videos. You need to watch them. Send me a message and I'm going to engage with you. All right, I hope you had an amazing time. I hope you learned something. Okay, I'll see you next Thursday once again. All right, bye for now.